Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. As always, I'm Ifoma. So in today's tutorial we are going to be putting together the corset we drafted at yesterday. So this is mine. This is absolutely beautiful. So if this looks like what you're interested in, keep watching. So to begin, we already drafted out our pattern yesterday. We already drafted out our pattern. So to begin, we already just drafted out our pattern. So as you can see, we pinned this our pattern. Like we said, we folded away this our dart. So we pinned our pattern on this beautiful African fabric that we also went ahead to interface, right? So we pinned our pattern like this, and then we added 0.5 inches here. So on the side, we didn't add anything because the allowance we added is enough for making this. So on the down parts, we added 0.5 inches. On the upper part, 0.5. Round the cup, 0.5 inches, okay? So we're just going to cut this out like this. So here on the center of our cup, I'm just going to give it a little notch so that we know that that is the center when we are placing the cup, okay? So this is what it looks like. So we're going to go ahead to cut the back and the cup as well, also adding 0.5 inches allowance to it. So we're also going to go ahead to add 0.5 inches round the cup areas. So the next thing we are going to do now is to label all the time. Make sure you are labeling your corset, especially the cup area, okay? So this is the side with the arrow, this is the top, and this part is the center front, okay? So I'm going to repeat the same thing for the back. This is the top and this is the center front. So for the back, this is the side front, this is the side with the arrow, the top, so I don't mistakenly sew another part as the top, okay? So always all the time label your corset. So this is the center and this is the side, this is the side, this is the center, this is the side, okay? So this is it. I've labeled my cup. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the lining. This is the side, this is the front. I'm going to do the same thing for the lining, okay? I'm just going to go ahead and cut the lining using this one, okay? So after cutting it, we are going to continue with the rest of the video. This is the homemade cup that I'm going to be using. It's a foam pad. As you can see, this is a foam pad. They have the stronger one, they have this softer one. So this one is light, look at it, this one is light. So what I did is I'm going to double each one, okay? So this is how I cut it out. I cut it equal to the paper, and then I added a little allowance here, just a little, for me to join them together here, okay? So I also added allowance here and here, then other part is equal, as you can see, just a tiny allowance for me to join it with my zigzag. I'm going to use my zigzag to join it, but if you don't have a zigzag to join this, then you might want to add a larger allowance to join it with your straight sewing, okay? So I'm going to join it with my zigzag. That is why I added just very tiny allowance, because you know that this is our actual cup, so we want it to be equal to our actual cup. after joining. Okay, so this is it. This is how to cut it. So I've cut all of them. I'm going to double each part. Look at it. And I also went ahead to label. Okay, this one is not supposed to be here. This is it. Okay, so I also went ahead to label. Always label so you don't get confused when you are making yours. So to start sewing this, okay, so we are going to join the center. We are going to join the second piece of our corset. Okay, so that is why we labeled it. This one is for the center front and this one is the side front. Okay, so it's going to be like this. So this is the importance of labeling. Once you look at it, you already know what you are going to join. So you're just going to join it like this, right side facing each other. And remember we added 0.5 inches for the stitching allowance when we are cutting this. So we are going to join it with 0.5 inches. We're going to do the same thing for the lining. So this is the lining. So we are going to go ahead to join all these parts together. So after joining it, we are going to press it open. Okay, so this one, this lining, I finished joining it and I top stitched it. Okay, this is how it looks. So I'm going to set the lining aside, and for this one, after joining it, I'm just going to open it up. This is the actual fabric. I'm going to open it up and iron it flat. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to attach the up. Okay, so remember that this is the place we put the arrow going up, which means that this is the side that the up is going to be. Okay, and the up, this one is the center, which means it's going to face here. Like I said before, that is the importance of labeling. Okay, so I'm just going to put the up like this. Remember we added 0.5 inches for the sewing allowance, so we're just going to use that 0.5 inches to join it. Okay, so we're just going to join this like this using that 0.5 inches. We are going to do the same thing for this side, and we are also going to do the same thing for the lining. Okay, we are going to join the lining and we are going to top stitch it as well. So this is what it looks like after we are done joining the third side. Okay, so we are now going to also press it open with our iron. And for the lining, I also top stitched it. So this is ready. And then for the cup, I went ahead to join the cup with my zigzag machine, like I said. So I started to use the white part so you can see it clearly. So I joined it with my zigzag machine, and this is what it looks like. Okay, this is homemade cup. It's just nice, and this one actually fits me better. So this is, I'm going to go ahead and set this. Okay, so this is it. This is the center, like we marked CF. This is the center, and for this cup, this is the center. Okay, so we are going to place it like this, and we are going to make sure that this joining and this joining is the same. Hold it down with a pin. Okay, so we're also going to make sure that it's equal. We're just going to go ahead and pin it, making sure that each line is corresponding. is what it's like. This is it. Okay, so we are going to say when you say let me see that the face going to come out like for the when you're doing this to your actual bodies, you're going to unfold, you're going to bodies that I want to show you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and also this one. So this is this one. So let's see that there's just make sure you share the name very well. So this is what it looks like. So for the front, okay, so this is what the front looks like. I want to get the line for fixing of my bone. Okay, so this is the center. I've done that before, but I forgot to on my camera when I was doing it. So I'm just going to show us how we fold it to get the line for our bone. Okay, so this is the center. Of course, one bone is going to be on the center. Okay, so another one. Note how I folded it. Okay, unless you want it to be straight, you can fold it like this. So this one depends on how you want to fix your bone. This one don't have any particular way to do it. Okay, so I just folded it in like this. I wanted it to be like this. Okay, so I folded it in like this. I pressed it. So this one is the second one. So the third one, I want it to be here. I folded it in like this, and I pressed it as well. And then for the last one, I folded it in like this as well. Note that the distance in the down is the same. Okay, that is how I want mine. So like I said before, there is no manual on how you to put your bone. So your bone depends on what you want it to be. Okay, so this is it. I'll just open it up, and these are all the lines for our bone. So I'm just going to make it visible by using my ruler and my chalk to mark it. This is the first one. Second one. Third one. And the last one. So I'm just doing something. Okay, so these are all the lines for my bone. Okay, for the front. These are all the lines for the bone for the front, right? So this is what it looks like after we were done. This is the front. This is the back. Okay, so we use bias to create our bone channel, and for the back we also created the bone. I'm going to minus 1 inch from the center back. Okay, because it's going to have an eyelet at the back, and we did not create a chance for the eyelet, so I'm just going to minus 1 inch because I don't want my back to be too open. So if you want your back to be very open, you can go ahead and minus 2, 3 or 2.5 or 3.5 or even 4 inches, depending on how open you want your back to be. Okay, so I'm just going to minus 1 inch. So I placed the two back and also the lining together while I was doing that. Okay, so I have also went ahead to create the channel for the back. This is what I ended up doing at the back. Okay, so for the inside, I'm going to create a bone channel. We are going to minus 1/2 inch that we are going to use to fold in the back. Okay, so this is 1/2 inch for closing of the back. Okay, so from there we are going to put a bone here. We are going to put a bone here. Okay. Okay, so this is closing of the back, and we are going to put the bone here. So now we are going to go ahead to start cutting our bone. Okay, so I'm going to measure this center one. While I'm measuring, I'm making sure to leave 0.5 inches for the turning on the top part and also on the down part. Okay, remember that this is not a sewable bone, so any slight mistake and the needle touches it is going to break our needle. Okay, this one is for the center. The center is 1 piece, and then for the second side, I'm going to cut this into 2 pieces. Okay, so we are going to start putting our bone. And to put our bone, first of all, we are going to shape the mouth like this. Okay, so you can decide to use your lighter to burn the mouth, any one you want to do. But me, I hardly like using lighter, so I like shaping the mouth like this. Okay, so if you do it like this, it's going to be smooth at the mouth. And then remember we said we are going to use a sewable bone to create a channel for this part. Let's go ahead and fit it in all parts. Here I have finished fitting. I have finished putting my bone and I have ironed it. Okay, this is how it looks, so beautiful. This is it. For the back also, this is the back. Okay, so I went ahead to fold, use my iron to bend this place we left for the turning, the 0.5 inch we left for the turning. I folded it like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to get the cup. Okay, and this cup, we are going to gum the top, the cup itself to the fabric, so that when we remove the pin, it's not going to fall out. So I'm just going to like this. So you're going to make sure that the cup fits in where it's supposed to be, right? So this is it. This is it. So I'm going to do the same thing for this side of the cup as well. So when we have achieved that, the next thing we're going to do is to go over to our machine and attach our cup to this one. Okay, so ensure that this one is the center, because this is the center front. Then from the join in here, you know that this join in here is the center. Remember we notched here before, that is the center, right? So we are going to place this center and make sure that the two notches are corresponding. Then we are going to go over to our sewing machine and we are going to attach our cup using the allowance we added, the 0.5 inch allowance we added when we were cutting on our actual fabric. So this is what we have after we are done. Okay, this is it. This is what we have. So we are going to now use our lining. We have also joined our lining. Okay, so we are going to use our lining to turn this. Okay, just the normal way we turn our clothes. We're just going to turn it on the top, and then we're also going to turn here. We're going to turn the top, and we're also going to turn here, and then we are going to turn it inside out from one side. So you can decide to turn one side. Okay, so we are going to turn it outside out from one side. So we're just going to go ahead to our sewing machine, and then we'll turn here and down, and also one side. So we are going to do the same for the back as well. Okay, we're going to do the same for the back. So we're just going to turn it round, leaving one part open. So this is what we have after turning it with the lining and ironing it. So I also added a hemming gum to hold it down. Okay, so this is it. So remember when we were cutting it, we added 1.5 inch for the sewing allowance. So we have used 0.5 inch from the 1.5 inch we added to turn the lining. So now we are going to use 1 inch to shape it. So we're just going to use 1 inch to shape it. Okay, so we are done with this after shaping it. So putting hand, if you want to put hand, if you want, you will not put the hand. So if you want it to be an off shoulder, if you want it to be a tube corset like this with no hand or no yoke, this is it. If you want to put hand, that is absolutely dependent on you. Okay, so this is all for this corset. Once we shape it, we put our eyelets and we are done. Ta-da! So guys, this is what it looked like after we are done shaping it, and I also went ahead to press it real flat on the side to give us a very nice and neat look. So if you are watching this level, thank you very much for watching. Hit the subscribe button, turn your notification bell, and also give this video a thumbs up.